We stand before the pyramids of Giza, those silent sentinels that have watched empires rise and fall for over 4.5 millennia. These are not mere tombs, not just stacks of stone carved from the desert's heart. They are riddles wrapped in limestone, puzzles etched in starlight, and perhaps gateways to secrets so profound they could reshape how we see our place in the cosmos. As the cool breath of the desert stirs around us, we begin a journey to uncover who truly built these monuments and why their enigma still captivates us. Close your eyes, let the world fade, and drift with me into the eternal mystery of the Giza pyramids. Welcome to Mystery History for Sleep. I'm Mr. H, your guide into the twilight realms of history, where the line between truth and mystery blurs like the horizon at dawn. Picture the Giza plateau as the first rays of dawn creep across the sands, painting the pyramids in hues of gold and amber. The Great Pyramid of Khufu looms largest, its once smooth limestone casing now weathered but still majestic, rising 481 feet toward a sky that seems to hold its breath. Flanking it are the pyramids of Khafre and Menkaure, each a testament to ambition that defies time itself. Nearby, the Great Sphinx gazes eastward, its lion's body and human face a guardian of secrets older than the stories we tell. These structures, built with a precision that humbles modern engineers, seem to pulse with purpose. Their angles align with the cardinal directions too, within fractions of a degree. Their chambers resonate with frequencies that echo the rhythms of the universe, and their stonesome weighing as much as modern trucks fit together so tightly that a blade cannot slip between them. How could such feats be accomplished by a civilization we imagine wielding only copper tools and human strength? The question lingers like the desert's morning mist, refusing to dissipate. The official story, carved into the stone tablets of academia, tells us these pyramids were built during Egypt's 4th dynasty, around 2600 to 2500 BCE, a golden age when pharaohs ruled as living gods and the Nile's waters nourished a civilization that dreamed of eternity. Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops, is said to have commissioned the Great Pyramid, a tomb to secure his journey to the afterlife among the stars. His successors, Khafre and Menkaure, followed, each adding their own monument to this sacred plateau. We're told that armies of workers, perhaps 20,000 strong, labored for decades, dragging limestone from nearby quarries and granite from Aswan, 500 miles away, using sledges, ropes, and sheer determination. Architects, their names lost to time, designed these structures with mathematical precision, leveling bases to within centimeters and orienting them to true north with an accuracy that rivals our best telescopes. The narrative is one of human triumph, of a society that harnessed its collective will to create wonders that have outlasted every empire since. Yet, as the first light of day kisses the pyramid stones, doubts begin to stir. How did they achieve such precision without modern instruments? How did they move granite blocks heavier than locomotives across hundreds of miles of river and sand? The Great Pyramid alone contains over 2.3 million blocks, each cut and placed with a perfection that modern builders struggle to replicate. If Khufu's reign lasted 23 years, as historians believe, his workers would have needed to quarry, transport, and set more than 300 stones every day, a pace that stretches the limits of human endurance. The mortar binding these blocks is stronger than the stones themselves, made with minerals not found in Egypt, its recipe still a mystery to modern chemistry. These are not the hallmarks of a primitive society stumbling toward greatness, but of a civilization wielding knowledge we are only beginning to rediscover. Whispers of something stranger begin to rise, carried on the desert wind. What if the pyramids are not the work of 4th dynasty pharaohs alone? What if they are relics of a time far older, built by hands that worked when the Sahara was green and the Nile swelled with waters that have long since vanished? Some point to the Great Sphinx, its weathered flanks marked by vertical channels that speak of heavy rainfall, a climate Egypt has not seen for thousands of years. Geologist Robert Schoch, in the 1990s, studied these erosion patterns and proposed a startling idea. The Sphinx could date back to 7,000 or even 9,000 years ago, a time when the African humid period transformed the desert into grasslands. If true, this would place the Sphinx and perhaps the pyramids themselves centuries before the dawn of dynastic Egypt, suggesting builders whose names and deeds have been erased by time. A curious artifact fuels this speculation: the inventory stele, a granite slab found near the Great Pyramid in the 19th century. Its hieroglyphs claim that Khufu did not build the pyramid or the Sphinx, but found them already ancient and restored them, repairing damage wrought by time and sand. Mainstream scholars dismiss the stele as a later creation, perhaps from the New Kingdom, when pharaohs often claimed credit for older works. But its weathered surface and detailed descriptions of restoration work hint at a truth that challenges our timelines. If Khufu merely inherited these monuments, who were the original architects? A lost civilization, perhaps, one that flourished when mammoths still roamed, and humanity's story was just beginning. These questions lead us to even bolder ideas, ones that stretch the boundaries of imagination. What if the pyramids were not built by human hands alone? In 1968, Swiss author Erich von Däniken published Chariots of the Gods, proposing that the pyramids' precision and scale point to extraterrestrial assistance. He suggested that beings from distant stars, wielding technology indistinguishable from magic, taught early humans the secrets of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. The Great Pyramid's alignment with true north, its incorporation of the golden ratio, and its dimensions that mirror cosmic measurements like its height, multiplied by 1 billion, approximating the distance to the sun, seem to support this. Could the pyramids be more than tombs? Could they be machines, energy conduits, or even communication devices linking Earth to the stars? Von Däniken's ideas, though controversial, find echoes in ancient texts from cultures far beyond Egypt. Sumerian tablets speak of the Anunnaki, beings from a planet called Nibiru who came to Earth seeking gold and shared knowledge with humanity. Hindu Vedas describe Vimanas, flying craft piloted by gods with powers to reshape the world. Even the Book of Ezekiel recounts a vision of a craft with wheels within wheels, accompanied by beings of unearthly appearance. These stories, once dismissed as myth, might preserve memories of contact with advanced visitors who left their mark in stone. The pyramid's mathematical relationships phi and proportions that align with Earth's latitude and solar orbits suggest a knowledge of the cosmos that feels anachronistic for a civilization of copper and rope. Adding to the enigma are tales of a hidden chamber, a hall of records said to lie beneath the Sphinx. Ancient traditions, preserved by mystics and seers, claim this chamber holds scrolls or tablets inscribed with the wisdom of a forgotten age knowledge of the stars, the Earth, and perhaps the origins of humanity itself. Edgar Cayce, a 20th century psychic, spoke of this library as a repository of Atlantean secrets, safeguarded until humanity is ready to understand. Some believe this chamber exists, its entrance concealed by sand or stone, its contents guarded by forces human or otherwise that wish to keep its truths hidden. Could such a discovery rewrite history, revealing a past where advanced civilizations or cosmic teachers shaped our world? The pyramid's mystery deepens with stories of a curse, a shadow that falls on those who dare disturb their sanctity. When Tutankhamun's tomb was opened in 1922, a series of deaths followed explorers, archaeologists, and workers struck down by illness or accident. The press dubbed it the Curse of the Pharaohs, a warning etched in time that some secrets are not meant to be uncovered. Similar tales surround the Great Pyramid, with reports of strange energies, unsettling visions, and unexplained misfortunes befalling those who venture too deep. Are these mere coincidences, or do the pyramids hold a power we cannot yet comprehend, a safeguard left by their builders to protect their legacy? As we stand beneath the star-strewn sky, the pyramids seem to pulse with questions that defy easy answers. Their stones, silent yet eloquent, challenge us to look beyond the familiar narratives of history books. The precision of their construction, the cosmic alignments, the whispers of lost civilizations or extraterrestrial guidesail point to a truth that may lie just beyond our grasp. Some say the pyramids are a bridge between Earth and the heavens, a testament to humanity's longing to touch the eternal. Others see them as relics of a forgotten epoch, when knowledge flowed freely, and the impossible was merely a matter of will. And then there are those who believe they are something stranger still, beacons, perhaps, calling out to distant worlds or guarding secrets that could unravel the fabric of our reality. The desert wind carries these questions, stirring the sands that have buried truths for millennia. As we prepare to delve deeper, to explore the theories and evidence that surround these ancient giants, we must ask ourselves, what if the pyramids are not just monuments, but messages? Messages from a time when gods walked among mortals, or when humanity glimpsed a wisdom we have since forgotten? As the first whispers of dawn fade and the stars above the Giza plateau burn bright against the velvet night, we step deeper into the enigma of the pyramids, guided by a question that dares to stretch beyond the boundaries of Earth itself. We've stood before the pyramids, marveling at their precision and scale, wondering how a civilization armed with copper tools could craft monuments that seem to whisper secrets of the cosmos. Now, we turn to a theory that ignites the imagination like a flare in the desert dark. What if the hands that shaped these stones were not entirely human? What if the knowledge encoded in their angles and alignments came from visitors who crossed the gulfs of space, bringing wisdom from distant stars? Tonight, we explore the ancient astronaut hypothesis, a bold idea that suggests the pyramids of Giza may be more than earthly creations, they may be the legacy of extraterrestrial architects. The notion that beings from beyond our world could have influenced humanity's greatest achievements first captured the public's imagination in 1968, when Swiss author Erich von Däniken published Chariots of the Gods. His question was simple yet revolutionary. What if the gods of ancient myth were not divine spirits but advanced beings whose technology seemed like magic to our ancestors? Von Däniken looked at the Great Pyramid's staggering precision, its alignment to true north within a fraction of a degree, its incorporation of mathematical constants like pi and the golden ratio, its blocks fitted so tightly that a knife blade cannot pass between them, and saw evidence of capabilities beyond what any human civilization of the time could achieve. How, he asked, could a people with rudimentary tools create a structure containing over 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons, transported from quarries 500 miles away? The answer, he proposed, lies not in underestimating human ingenuity, but in recognizing that our ancestors had teachers from the stars. The Great Pyramid, towering 481 feet above the Giza plateau, offers a compelling case for this extraordinary idea. Its base, covering 13 acres, is leveled to within 2.1 centimeters, a feat that would challenge modern laser-guided equipment. Its four sides align with the cardinal directions with an accuracy of less than 1/20th of a degree, pointing not to magnetic north, which shifts over time, but to true north, determined by the Earth's rotation. This precision suggests astronomical knowledge that spans generations, tracking stellar movements with a sophistication that feels out of place in the Bronze Age. The pyramid's dimensions encode relationships that seem almost too perfect to be coincidence. Its height, when multiplied by 1 billion, approximates the distance from Earth to the Sunday 149.6 million kilometers, a measurement that should have been impossible without telescopes or advanced mathematics. The perimeter of its base, when divided by its height, yields a close approximation of pi, a constant supposedly not formalized until centuries later by Greek mathematicians. These are not random alignments but deliberate designs, as if the builders understood the geometry of the cosmos itself. Von Däniken's hypothesis gains further traction when we consider the pyramid's astronomical alignments, which seem to map the heavens onto the desert floor. In the 1990s, engineer Robert Bauval discovered that the three pyramids of Giza Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure Mirror, the pattern of Orion's belt, the three stars that form the waist of the constellation Orion. But this alignment is not as the stars appeared during the Fourth Dynasty, around 2500 BCE. Instead, it matches their positions around 10,500 BCE, a date that predates dynastic Egypt by millennia. During this earlier epoch, the Milky Way, seen as a celestial river by the Egyptians, would have aligned with the Nile as viewed from Giza, creating a perfect reflection of heaven on earth. This correlation suggests the builders possessed knowledge of stellar precession, the slow wobble of Earth's axis that shifts the stars' positions over 26,000 years. Such understanding would require observations spanning centuries, if not millennia, or guidance from those who already knew the sky's secrets. The internal structure of the Great Pyramid deepens the mystery. The King's Chamber, a granite sanctuary at the heart of the monument, contains a sarcophagus carved from a single block of granite, with tolerances that rival modern machine shops. The chamber itself resonates at a frequency of approximately 432 Hz, a tone some claim aligns with the natural vibrations of the universe, capable of inducing meditative states or even altering consciousness. Narrow shafts extend from the chamber toward the pyramid's outer faces, once thought to be ventilation ducts but now recognized as precisely aligned pathways to specific stars. The northern shaft points to Thuban, the pole star of the pyramid's era, while the southern shaft targets Orion's belt, linked to Osiris, the god of the afterlife. These alignments are not approximations but exact, suggesting the builders had instruments or knowledge far beyond what we attribute to ancient Egypt. Another clue lies in the materials used. The mortar binding the pyramid's limestone blocks is stronger than the stones themselves, composed of minerals not found naturally in Egypt. Modern chemists have analyzed this cement and found it defies replication, its durability surviving earthquakes and millennia of erosion. Core samples from the pyramid's interior have revealed traces of unusual compounds, and some controversial reports, though unverified, claim metallic objects embedded within the stones, hinting at technologies unknown to the Fourth Dynasty. These anomalies raise questions. Did the builders have access to processes or materials that have since been lost? Or were they guided by beings with advanced scientific knowledge, capable of crafting substances beyond the reach of human hands? The ancient astronaut hypothesis finds echoes in myths and texts from cultures far beyond the Nile. Sumerian cuneiform tablets, among the oldest written records, describe the Anunnaki, beings from a planet called Nibiru, who came to Earth in search of gold to repair their world's atmosphere. Scholar Zecharia Sitchin, building on these texts, suggested the Anunnaki genetically modified early humans to serve as laborers, imparting knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering in the process. The pyramids, in this view, become collaborative projects between terrestrial workers and cosmic architects, their precision a testament to extraterrestrial blueprints. Similarly, the Hindu Vedas speak of Vimanas, flying vehicles piloted by gods with powers to reshape landscapes. The Book of Ezekiel describes a vision of a craft with wheels within wheels, accompanied by beings of unearthly appearance. These stories, found across continents and millennia, might preserve fragmented memories of contact with advanced visitors who left their mark in stone and legend. The global distribution of pyramid-like structures adds weight to this idea. From the stepped pyramids of Mesoamerica, like the Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan, to the ancient terraces of Gunung Padang in Indonesia, monumental architecture appears in cultures separated by vast oceans and thousands of years. These structures often share uncanny similarities: massive stone blocks, precise astronomical alignments, and mathematical relationships that encode pi and the golden ratio. How could such parallels arise without some form of shared knowledge? The ancient astronaut hypothesis proposes a radical answer: a global civilization guided by extraterrestrial teachers who seeded architectural and scientific wisdom across the planet. The pyramids of Giza, in this context, are not isolated wonders, but nodes in a network of cosmic communication, built to endure as beacons for future generations. Yet, the hypothesis is not without its critics. Mainstream archaeologists argue that human ingenuity, honed over generations, could account for the pyramids' achievements. The discovery of workers' villages near Giza, complete with bakeries and breweries, suggests a well-fed, organized workforce proud of their craft. Copper tools, though soft, could be work-hardened to cut limestone, and experimental archaeology has shown that sledges and ramps could move heavy stones. The astronomical alignments, critics say, reflect the Egyptians' deep reverence for the stars, not extraterrestrial guidance. The mathematical relationships, while impressive, could be coincidental, or the result of practical experimentation rather than cosmic knowledge. Skeptics also point out the lack of direct physical evidence. No spacecraft, no alien artifacts, no unambiguous proof of contact. The stories of the Anunnaki or Vimanas, they argue, are myths born of humanity's need to explain the unknown, not historical records of extraterrestrial visits. Still, the anomalies persist, refusing to be dismissed. In 2017, the Scan Pyramids project, using muon tomography, detected a massive void above the Grand Gallery, a space larger than a passenger jet, hidden within the Great Pyramid's core. This chamber, unknown to archaeologists, serves no apparent structural purpose. Could it house technology or records left by the builders, human or otherwise? Some researchers speculate it might contain devices or inscriptions that could confirm extraterrestrial involvement, though Egyptian authorities have been reluctant to allow further exploration. This hesitation fuels another layer of the mystery. Are there forces, governments, institutions, or secret societies that know more than they reveal? Some point to the Freemasons, whose symbols draw heavily from Egyptian imagery, as guardians of ancient knowledge, possibly aware of the pyramid's true origins, but bound to secrecy. Others suggest global powers suppress such discoveries to maintain control over historical narratives, fearing the upheaval that proof of alien contact might bring. The acoustic properties of the pyramids add another dimension to this theory. The King's Chamber's resonance at 432 Hz aligns with frequencies some believe enhance human consciousness, suggesting the pyramid could function as a device for spiritual or even interdimensional communication. Modern experiments have shown that certain geometric shapes, like pyramids, can amplify subtle energies, affecting everything from plant growth to meditation. Could the builders have designed these structures to harness energies we are only beginning to understand, perhaps under the guidance of beings who mastered such forces? The idea stretches credulity, yet the precision of the pyramid's construction joints, consistent to 1/50th of an inch across millions of blocks, suggests a level of engineering that feels almost mechanical, as if guided by minds or machines beyond human capability. The ancient astronaut hypothesis also points to the sudden leap in human development around 40,000 years ago, when art, music, and complex tools appeared with startling rapidity. Some proponents argue this cultural explosion reflects external intervention, perhaps genetic enhancements by extraterrestrial visitors. The pyramids, in this view, are not just architectural feats but evidence of a collaboration that elevated humanity's potential. The global parallel pyramids in China, Mesoamerica, and beyond suggest a coordinated effort, a shared blueprint that transcends cultural boundaries. Could these monuments be part of a planetary network designed to signal or communicate with the stars? The idea is speculative, yet it addresses anomalies that conventional archaeology struggles to explain, like the presence of non-native minerals or the pyramid's ability to withstand millennia of environmental stress. As we stand beneath the desert sky, the stars that guided the pyramid builders still wheel overhead, their patterns unchanged since the monuments were raised. The ancient astronaut hypothesis, however bold, speaks to a fundamental human impulse, to look to the heavens for answers. Whether the pyramids were built by humans alone, by a lost civilization, or with help from cosmic travelers, they challenge us to question the limits of our past. If extraterrestrials did play a role, what was their purpose? Were they benevolent teachers, sharing knowledge to uplift humanity, or pragmatic visitors, using Earth's resources for their own ends? And why have no definitive artifacts been found, unless perhaps they lie sealed in chambers yet to be opened, guarded by forces that prefer silence? The desert grows colder now, the stars brighter, as we prepare to shift our gaze from the skies to the sands of time itself. The pyramids may hold clues to an even older mystery, one that predates the pharaohs and speaks of a civilization lost to history's embrace. What if these monuments predate the pharaohs of Egypt's fourth dynasty? What if they were built by a civilization so advanced, so ancient, that its memory has faded like the green valleys that once thrived where sand now reigns. Tonight, we explore the tantalizing idea that the pyramids and the Great Sphinx are relics of a forgotten people, whose knowledge and deeds were buried by time itself, leaving only stone to whisper their story. As we stand on the Giza plateau, the pyramids loom like sentinels of a lost age, their weathered surfaces catching the starlight in patterns that seem to speak of eternity. The conventional narrative places their construction around 2600 to 2500 BCE, during Egypt's Old Kingdom, when pharaohs like Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure ruled as living gods. Yet, cracks in this timeline emerge when we look closer, like fissures in limestone under the desert's relentless sun. The Great Sphinx, that enigmatic guardian with a lion's body and a human face, offers the first clue. Its flanks bear deep, vertical channels, scars etched not by wind or sand, but by heavy rainfall, a phenomenon Egypt has not seen for thousands of years. In the 1990s, geologist Robert Schoch studied these erosion patterns and proposed a radical idea. The Sphinx could date back to 7,000 or even 9,000 years ago, during the African humid period, when the Sahara was a lush landscape of grasslands and lakes. If true, this places the Sphinx's creation long before the rise of dynastic Egypt, in an era when humanity was supposedly just learning to farm and build. This startling claim finds an echo in an ancient artifact known as the inventory stele, discovered near the Great Pyramid in the 19th century. Carved in granite, its hieroglyphs tell a story that upends our understanding of Giza's history. The stele claims that Khufu did not build the Great Pyramid or the Sphinx, but found them already ancient, worn by time and the desert's advance. He restored them, repairing their stones and honoring their sanctity. Mainstream archaeologists dismissed the stele as a later creation, perhaps from the New Kingdom, when pharaohs often claimed credit for their predecessors' works. Yet, the stele's weathered surface, its style of hieroglyphs, and its detailed account of restoration work resist easy dismissal. If it speaks truth, the pyramids could be relics of a time far older than the Fourth Dynasty, built by a people whose name and culture have been swallowed by the sands. The astronomical alignments of the Giza complex deepen this mystery. The three pyramids, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure mirror the pattern of Orion's belt, but not as it appeared in 2500 BCE. Engineer Robert Bauval's research in the 1990s revealed that this alignment matches the star's positions around 10,500 BCE, a date that aligns with the African humid period. During this epoch, the Milky Way, seen by the Egyptians as a celestial river, would have paralleled the Nile when viewed from Giza, creating a mirror of heaven on earth. The Great Pyramid's internal shafts, extending from the king's and queen's chambers, point to stars like Thuban and Sirius, but their precise alignments also correspond to this earlier period. Such knowledge implies observations spanning centuries or even millennia, suggesting a continuity of purpose that transcends the reigns of individual pharaohs. Could the builders have been part of a civilization that watched the stars long before Egypt's dynasties began? This possibility gains traction when we look beyond Giza to other ancient sites that challenge our timelines. In Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, a complex of massive stone pillars carved with intricate reliefs, dates to 11,000 years ago, millennia before the pyramids. Its builders, often described as hunter-gatherers, demonstrated architectural and astronomical sophistication that rivals later civilizations. They aligned their structures with celestial events, suggesting a deep understanding of the cosmos. Similarly, off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni Monument, a submerged stone formation, bears marks that some argue indicate human craftsmanship from 10,000 years ago, when sea levels were lower. In Malta, megalithic temples like Gantija predate Stonehenge by over 1,000 years, their builders wielding knowledge of engineering and astronomy that feels anachronistic for their time. These discoveries paint a picture of a world where advanced societies flourished earlier than we imagined, their achievements erased by time or catastrophe. What kind of civilization could have built the pyramids in such an ancient era? The African humid period, from roughly 12,000 to 5,000 years ago, transformed the Sahara into a fertile region, supporting larger populations and abundant resources. Rivers and lakes, now vanished, could have facilitated the transport of massive stone blocks, making feats like moving 80-ton granite slabs from Aswan to Giza more feasible. A society thriving in this environment might have developed technologies and organizational skills far beyond what we attribute to early humans. The Great Pyramid's base, leveled to within 1 centimeters across 13 acres, and its orientation to true north, accurate to less than 1/20th of a degree, suggest a mastery of surveying and astronomy that would require generations of accumulated knowledge. The mortar, stronger than the limestone it binds, contains minerals not native to Egypt, hinting at trade networks or chemical expertise that defies conventional understanding. The idea of a forgotten civilization finds resonance in ancient legends across the globe. Egyptian texts speak of divine dynasties that ruled before the pharaohs, when gods walked among mortals and imparted wisdom. The pyramid texts, among the oldest religious writings, describe the pharaoh's journey through stellar realms, suggesting a cosmology that viewed the pyramids as gateways to the stars. Hindu traditions recount cycles of civilization, stretching back hundreds of thousands of years, with advanced societies rising and falling in cosmic rhythms. Sumerian myths tell of the Anunnaki, beings who brought knowledge to humanity in a primordial age. These stories, once dismissed as mere mythology, may preserve cultural memories of a civilization that achieved greatness before a cataclysm, perhaps a flood or climate shift, swept it away, leaving only its monuments as testament. One provocative theory links the pyramids to the lost civilization of Atlantis, described by Plato as a sophisticated society that vanished in a single day and night of calamity around 9600 BCE. Some researchers, like Edgar Cayce, suggested that survivors of Atlantis fled to Egypt, bringing their knowledge of architecture, mathematics, and astronomy. The pyramids, in this view, could be their legacy, built to preserve their wisdom for future generations. The inventory stales claim that Khufu restored rather than built the pyramids aligns with this idea, suggesting the monuments were inherited from an earlier age. The Sphinx's water erosion, pointing to a wetter climate, supports the notion of a time when Egypt was part of a broader, more advanced cultural network, perhaps centered in a now submerged land. This theory raises questions about why such a civilization vanished. Climate data from the African humid period shows that around 5,000 years ago, the Sahara began to dry, transforming lush landscapes into desert. Populations may have scattered, their knowledge fragmented or lost as they adapted to harsher conditions. The pyramids, built to withstand time, could have been designed as enduring repositories of knowledge, their mathematical and astronomical alignments encoding information about the cosmos. Some speculate that a hall of records, hidden beneath the Sphinx or within the pyramids, contains scrolls or tablets that detail this lost civilization's achievements. Modern scans, like those from the Scan Pyramids project, have detected voids within the Great Pyramid, including a massive space above the Grand Gallery. Could these chambers hold artifacts or inscriptions that reveal a forgotten chapter of human history? Yet, the idea of an older civilization faces resistance from mainstream archaeology, which some claim is more than scientific caution. The conventional timeline, rooted in the Fourth Dynasty, is supported by artifacts like the workers' villages discovered by Mark Lehner, which show a well-organized society capable of monumental construction. Carbon dating of organic materials within the pyramids aligns roughly with 2600 BCE, though some samples yield earlier dates, dismissed as contamination. Critics argue that suggesting an earlier civilization ignores the gradual development of Egyptian culture, from pre-dynastic villages to the Old Kingdom's sophistication. But proponents of the older age theory point to anomalies that defy this narrative. The Sphinx's erosion, the inventory stele, and the astronomical alignments that point to 10,500 BCE They suggest a conspiracy within academic circles, where evidence of extreme antiquity is downplayed to preserve established chronologies, perhaps to avoid challenging religious or cultural narratives about human progress. This resistance fuels speculation about institutional gatekeeping. Why, some ask, are Egyptian authorities reluctant to explore the newly discovered void in the Great Pyramid? Could it contain evidence that would upend our understanding of history, revealing a civilization whose capabilities rival or surpass our own? The pyramid's mathematical precision encoding pi, the golden ratio, and Earth's dimensions suggests a knowledge of global geography and astronomy that implies advanced surveying or even aerial observation. The base perimeter of the Great Pyramid, 3,023 feet, equals half a minute of latitude at the equator when measured in ancient Egyptian cubits, a correlation that seems deliberate. Such feats hint at a society with access to resources, technologies, or insights that disappeared with the changing climate, leaving only their monuments to endure. The global context strengthens this hypothesis. In Indonesia, Gunung Padang, a terraced structure, has yielded carbon dates suggesting construction as early as 20,000 years ago, though these claims remain controversial. In South America, the megalithic site of Sacsayhuaman in Peru features stonework with joints as tight as those in Giza, built by a culture supposedly lacking advanced tools. These parallels suggest a shared knowledge system, perhaps inherited from a single, ancient source. Could this source be a global civilization that thrived during a time of environmental abundance, only to collapse as the Earth's climate shifted? The pyramids, in this view, are not just Egyptian but part of a planetary legacy, their builders leaving markers across continents to ensure their story would not be entirely forgotten. As we linger in the desert's embrace, the pyramids stand as silent challenges to our assumptions. They ask us to consider a past where humanity, its teachers, achieved greatness we are only beginning to comprehend. The idea of a forgotten civilization, whether Atlantean or otherwise, invites us to imagine a world where knowledge flowed like the rivers that once watered the Sahara, where architects and astronomers crafted monuments to outlast their own memory. But if such a civilization existed, what caused its fall? And why do its secrets remain hidden, guarded by stone and sand, or perhaps by those who fear what their discovery might mean? If this journey into the ancient past has sparked your curiosity, join us at Mystery History for Sleep by subscribing to the channel, where we uncover more secrets that whisper through time. Share this story on social media to ignite discussions about lost civilizations, and drop a comment telling us where you're listening from and what time it is there, whether it's midnight under a starry sky or dawn in a bustling city. Your thoughts keep these mysteries alive, connecting us to the echoes of a forgotten age. The night grows still, the stars a silent chorus above the ancient stones. As we prepare to shift our focus to the pyramid's cosmic purpose, we carry with us the echoes of a lost age. The builders, whoever they were, left us a puzzle that spans millennia, encoded in alignments that point to the heavens. What if these structures were not merely tombs or temples, but sophisticated instruments designed to map the heavens and guide the human spirit? Tonight, we delve into the pyramids as astronomical observatories and spiritual technologies, crafted to bridge the gap between Earth and the eternal, between mortal existence and cosmic truth. Beneath the star-strewn sky, the pyramids of Giza seem to pulse with a purpose that reaches beyond the material world. The ancient Egyptians saw death not as an end, but as a transformation, a journey through the heavens to join the imperishable stars. Their sacred texts, etched in stone and papyrus, describe the pharaoh's soul ascending through celestial realms, navigating pathways that lead to eternal life among the gods. The pyramids, in this cosmic vision, are more than burial chambers. They are launch pads for the soul, their every angle and alignment calculated to facilitate this stellar voyage. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, towering 481 feet above the desert, embodies this idea most profoundly. Its four sides align with the cardinal directions to within a fraction of a degree, a precision that suggests an intimate knowledge of the Earth's place in the cosmos. Its internal chambers and passages, carved with mathematical exactness, seem designed not just for the dead, but for the living spirits seeking union with the divine. The most striking evidence of the pyramids' astronomical role lies in their internal shafts, slender passages that extend from the king's and queen's chambers toward the monument's outer faces. Once thought to be ventilation ducts, these shafts are now recognized as precisely aligned conduits to specific stars, functioning like ancient telescopes carved in stone. During the pyramid's construction around 2500 BCE, the northern shaft from the king's chamber pointed directly at Thuban, the pole star of that era, a celestial anchor around which the northern sky appeared to revolve. This alignment was no accident. It created a direct pathway from the pharaoh's resting place to the star symbolizing eternal stability and divine authority. The southern shaft targeted Orion's belt, associated with Osiris, the god of death and resurrection. Through this stellar corridor, the pharaoh's soul could travel to join the deity who judged his worthiness for immortality. The queen's chamber shafts reveal equally deliberate alignments. The southern passage aimed at Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, known to the Egyptians as Sopdet and linked to Isis, the goddess of renewal. Sirius's heliacal rising marked the Nile's annual flood, a life-giving event that sustained Egypt's prosperity. The northern shaft pointed to stars in the Little Dipper, part of the imperishable ones, circumpolar stars that never set, symbolizing the eternal souls of the blessed dead. These alignments required a mastery of astronomy that staggers the modern mind. The builders would have needed to track stellar movements across decades, understanding the complex interplay of Earth's rotation, orbit, and axial precession. The precision of the shafts, accurate to within fractions of a degree, suggests tools or methods far beyond simple stargazing. The three pyramids themselves form a terrestrial map of Orion's belt, a correlation discovered by Robert Bauval that aligns not with the skies of 2500 BCE, but with those of 10,500 BCE, when the Milky Way mirrored the Nile's course from Giza. This cosmic mirroring suggests the builders saw their monuments as a reflection of heaven on earth, a sacred geography that connected the mortal realm to the eternal. The causeway linking Khufu's pyramid to its valley temple aligns with Regulus, the heart of the constellation Leo, during the pyramid's era, reinforcing the pharaoh's identity as a child of the sun god Ra. The Great Sphinx, with its lion's body, completes this celestial puzzle, rising as if to greet Leo's ascent during the spring equinox of that ancient epoch, a moment of harmony between earth and sky that occurs only once every 26,000 years. The pyramid's astronomical function extends beyond static alignments to dynamic interactions with the heavens. The structures act as massive sundials and calendars, their shadows marking solstices, equinoxes, and other celestial events with remarkable accuracy. The Great Pyramid's orientation allows for precise determination of true north and solar noon, while its geometry encodes the Earth's latitude at Giza. The Grand Gallery, with its corbelled ceiling, may have served as a sighting device for tracking stellar movements, its sloping walls creating a natural observatory within the pyramid's heart. Modern archaeoastronomers have found that the Giza complex functions as a celestial clock, capable of tracking cycles that span centuries. This suggests the builders viewed astronomy not just as a science, but as a sacred art, essential to both earthly governance and spiritual salvation. Yet, the pyramid's purpose reaches beyond the stars to the realm of the spirit, where stone and geometry become tools for transformation. The Great Pyramid's design incorporates the golden ratio, a proportion found in nature from the spirals of galaxies to the chambers of the human heart. This divine proportion governs the relationships between the pyramid's height, base, and internal chambers, creating a three-dimensional mandala that invites contemplation of universal order. Esoteric traditions, tracing their roots to ancient Egypt, see the pyramid's passages as a symbolic journey of the soul. The descending passage, plunging into the bedrock, represents the soul's descent into material existence, the weight of earthly life. The ascending passage, rising toward the king's chamber, symbolizes the spiritual path upward, toward enlightenment and unity with the divine. The Grand Gallery, with its 28 niches carved at precise intervals, mirrors systems of spiritual development found across cultures, from the lunar mansions of ancient astrology to the chakra systems of Eastern philosophy. The king's chamber itself, a granite sanctuary at the pyramid's core, is more than a burial vault. It is a crucible for consciousness. Its dimensions encode ratios found in sacred architecture worldwide, suggesting the builders understood principles of harmony that resonate with human awareness. The empty sarcophagus, carved from a single granite block, may never have held a body, but instead symbolized the death of the ego and the rebirth of the spirit. The chamber's acoustic properties amplify this spiritual role. It resonates at approximately 432 Hz, a frequency some mystics associate with the fundamental vibration of creation. Chanting or meditating within this space can induce altered states, described by practitioners as expansive and transformative. Napoleon Bonaparte, during his 1798 Egyptian campaign, reportedly spent a night in the king's chamber and emerged shaken, refusing to speak of what he experienced. Whether true or legend, the story captures the belief that this chamber is no ordinary space, but a technology designed to elevate the mind beyond mortal limits. This spiritual function finds echo in the traditions of mystery schools, which claim descent from ancient Egyptian wisdom. Hermetic philosophy, rooted in the teachings of the mythical Hermes Trismegistus, views the pyramid as a physical embodiment of the maxim, as above, so below. Its stellar alignments and mathematical perfection make it a map of the universe, a guide for navigating the interplay between microcosm and macrocosm. Freemasonry, drawing heavily from Egyptian symbolism, sees the pyramid as a metaphor for human potential, its four faces representing the elements earth, air, fire, and water that must be balanced to reach enlightenment at the apex. The missing capstone, possibly once crowning the Great Pyramid, symbolizes the unfinished work of spiritual growth, a concept echoed in the Great Seal of the United States, where an all-seeing eye hovers above an incomplete pyramid. The pyramid's spiritual role may extend to their very shape. Modern experiments suggest that pyramid structures can concentrate subtle energies, affecting everything from plant growth to human consciousness. Practitioners of pyramid meditation report enhanced clarity and peace when meditating within pyramid-shaped spaces, attributing this to the geometry's ability to amplify natural frequencies. Some researchers propose that the Great Pyramid was designed as a consciousness machine, its chambers and passages engineered to facilitate communication with higher realms or even extra-dimensional entities. The king's chamber's resonance, aligned with theta brainwaves associated with deep meditation, supports this idea, suggesting the builders understood the relationship between sound, space, and awareness in ways modern science is only beginning to explore. Ancient Egyptian texts, like the pyramid texts, reinforce this spiritual purpose. These inscriptions, among the oldest religious writings, describe the pharaoh's ascent through layers of heaven, transforming into stellar beings like Orion or Sirius. The Duat, the Egyptian afterlife realm, was not a vague spiritual dimension, but a specific region of the night sky, where souls navigated among the stars. The pyramids, with their star-aligned shafts and cosmic geometry, served as physical interfaces to this realm, acting as ancient spaceports for the soul's journey. The texts speak of the pharaoh merging with the imperishable stars, suggesting the pyramids were tools for achieving immortality, not just in a physical tomb, but in a cosmic sense. This spiritual technology may have been part of a broader initiatory tradition. Ancient accounts describe rituals conducted within the pyramid's chambers, guiding participants through symbolic death and rebirth to awaken dormant potentials. The candidate would enter the descending passage, shedding worldly awareness, before ascending through the Grand Gallery's stages of refinement to the king's chamber, where transformative experiences awaited. Such practices, preserved in fragments by later mystery schools, suggest the pyramids were universities of the spirit, where students studied astronomy, mathematics, and consciousness under the guidance of priest astronomers. The acoustic properties of the chambers, amplifying specific frequencies, could have enhanced these rituals, creating environments where the boundaries between self and cosmos dissolved. Yet, whispers of conspiracy surround this spiritual legacy. Some believe the knowledge of the pyramid's true purpose was guarded by secret societies, like the Freemasons or earlier Egyptian priesthoods, who used it in hidden rituals to preserve ancient wisdom. The reluctance of modern authorities to fully explore the pyramid's hidden chambers, like the void detected in 2017, fuels speculation that powerful groups, perhaps governments, or esoteric orders know more than they reveal. Could the pyramid's spiritual technology threaten established religious or social orders, prompting a deliberate suppression of their secrets? The Hall of Records, a legendary chamber beneath the Sphinx, is said to hold texts or devices that could unlock these truths, but its existence remains unconfirmed. It's in trance if it exists sealed by sand or secrecy. The pyramid's astronomical and spiritual roles converge in their ability to encode universal truths. Their proportions mirror those of the human body, with the raised arms forming a living pyramid, suggesting they were designed as architectural reflections of human potential. The numerical relationships, 921 feet for the base perimeter, 481 feet for the Hyteco patterns found in music, biology, and atomic structures, as if the builders saw mathematics as a language of creation itself. This sacred geometry, combined with the pyramid's celestial alignments, suggests they were built to harmonize Earth with the cosmos, guiding humanity toward a deeper understanding of its place in the universe. As we stand beneath the desert sky, the pyramid's stones seem to hum with the echoes of their dual-purpose observatories of the stars and sanctuaries of the soul. They challenge us to see beyond their physical form, to imagine a civilization that wove astronomy and spirituality into a seamless whole. Whether crafted by Egyptians, a lost civilization, or guided by cosmic teachers, the pyramids remain active participants in the cosmic dance they were designed to celebrate. Their secrets, encoded in stone and starlight, invite us to look upward and inward, to question what it means to be human in a universe vast and mysterious. The night grows deeper, the stars a silent guide above. As we prepare to broaden our gaze, to explore the pyramids not as isolated wonders but as part of a global phenomenon, we carry with us the sense that these monuments are more than relics. They are bridges to the eternal, tools for navigating the heavens and the self. Let us step forward, across continents and oceans, to uncover the threads that connect Giza to a worldwide legacy of stone and mystery, where the pyramids of Giza have drawn us into their enigma first as marvels of precision, then as potential relics of extraterrestrial influence, ancient civilizations, and cosmic instruments. Now, as the desert night cloaks the Giza plateau in silence, we lift our gaze beyond the sands of Egypt, across oceans and continents, to a startling realization. The pyramids are not an isolated triumph of one culture, but part of a global phenomenon, a tapestry of stone monuments that stretches from jungle to mountain, desert to island, each echoing the others in ways that defy explanation. As the stars above Giza trace their ancient paths, we begin in the dense rainforests of Mesoamerica, where the pyramids of the Maya and their predecessors rise through the morning mist. In Mexico's Teotihuacan, the Pyramid of the Sun stands 200 feet tall, its base rivaling the Great Pyramid of Khufu in volume. Built centuries after Giza, around 200 CE, it contains roughly the same amount of material, its sides aligned with celestial precision to mark solstices and equinoxes. Its proportions incorporate the golden ratio, a mathematical constant that echoes the design of Giza's pyramids. At Chichen Itza, the stepped pyramid known as El Castillo demonstrates an even more striking feat. During the spring and autumn equinoxes, shadows cast by its edges form a serpent slithering down the northern staircase, a phenomenon requiring exact knowledge of solar geometry. With 365 steps across its four sides, it mirrors the solar year, while its internal acoustics produce echoes mimicking the call of the sacred Quetzal bird. These are not random designs but deliberate creations, blending astronomy, mathematics, and symbolism in ways that parallel the achievements of ancient Egypt. The Maya, flourishing long after Giza's pyramids were built, possessed astronomical knowledge that in some ways surpassed their Egyptian counterparts. Their calendar system tracked time with precision that outstripped European calendars until the modern era, predicting eclipses and Venus's movements with uncanny accuracy. Their pyramids served as temples, observatories, and ceremonial centers, encoding cosmic cycles in stone. The similarities to Giza are striking. Both cultures moved massive stone blocks with precision, aligned their structures with stars, and embedded mathematical constants like pi and phi in their designs. How could two civilizations, separated by an ocean and millennia, develop such parallel approaches to architecture and astronomy? The conventional answer in dependent invention strains credulity when we consider the depth of these shared traits. Across the Pacific, on the remote Easter Island, another mystery unfolds. Known for its colossal moai statues, the island also hosts lesser-known pyramid-like structures, platforms of stone that supported these enigmatic figures. Recent excavations reveal a society capable of transporting and erecting multi-ton stones across rugged terrain, using techniques that remain poorly understood. Easter Island's isolation, thousands of miles from any major landmass, raises profound questions. How did a small population develop the engineering prowess to create such monuments? Some researchers propose that these structures, like those in Egypt and Mesoamerica, reflect a shared knowledge system, perhaps carried across oceans by ancient mariners or inherited from a common source lost to history. In China, where mist shrouds mountains that have witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties, pyramids dot the landscape in numbers that dwarf Egypt's. Near Xi'an, the Pyramid of the Sun, though eroded and cloaked in vegetation, rivals Giza's Great Pyramid in size. Dated to around 200 BCE, it aligns with celestial events, its orientation tracking seasonal cycles with mathematical precision. Excavations have uncovered artifacts suggesting advanced metallurgy and tool-making, hinting at a civilization with capabilities that seem anachronistic for its time. Other Chinese pyramids, scattered across the landscape, share these traits, their builders demonstrating a grasp of astronomy and engineering that echoes Giza's. The presence of non-native materials in some sites, like jade from distant regions, suggests trade networks or technological knowledge that challenges conventional timelines. South of Egypt, in Sudan, the Kingdom of Kush built hundreds of pyramids, smaller than Giza's but more numerous, between 800 BCE and 350 CE. These Nubian pyramids, clearly influenced by Egyptian models, nonetheless display unique features such as steeper angles and intricate burial chambers. Their astronomical alignments and construction techniques suggest a cultural exchange with Egypt, but some argue they also reflect an older, shared tradition predating both civilizations. The sheer number of these structure over 250 implies a sophisticated society capable of sustained monumental construction, raising questions about the origins of their knowledge. On the Indonesian island of Java, Gunung Padang presents perhaps the most provocative case. This terrace structure, potentially the oldest pyramid on Earth, has yielded carbon dates suggesting construction as early as 20,000 years ago. If verified, this would place it in an era when humans were supposedly just developing agriculture. Its builders manipulated massive stone blocks and aligned the site with celestial patterns, suggesting a level of sophistication that defies traditional narratives. Though mainstream archaeology remains skeptical, citing the need for further evidence, Gunung Padang's age and complexity hint at a global tradition of pyramid building that stretches far into prehistory. Across the Atlantic, in Bosnia, controversial claims surround alleged pyramids hidden beneath hills once thought natural. Proponents point to geometric regularities, tunnel systems, and acoustic properties suggesting artificial construction, though skeptics argue these are geological formations. The debate highlights the challenge of identifying ancient structures obscured by millennia of natural processes, yet it fuels speculation about a global network of pyramid builders. From Peru's Sacsayhuaman, with its tightly fitted stones, to Malta's megalithic temples, similar patterns emerge: massive stonework, astronomical precision, and mathematical relationships that seem too consistent to be coincidence. These global parallels raise a profound question. How did civilizations, separated by vast distances and time, develop such similar architectural solutions? The conventional explanation holds that pyramid building was a natural response to universal challenges, creating durable, sacred spaces with available resources. Yet, the shared use of pi, the golden ratio, and stellar alignment strains this idea. Some propose a radical alternative, a prehistoric super-civilization that spanned the globe, sharing knowledge of architecture, astronomy, and mathematics. This could have been a single culture, perhaps centered in a lost land like Atlantis, or a network of societies connected by maritime or even aerial travel. Recent DNA evidence supports this possibility, revealing genetic markers in Pacific Island populations that suggest contact with South America long before Columbus. Artifacts, like South American crops found in Polynesian sites, further hint at ancient transoceanic exchange. Legends across cultures bolster this theory. The Egyptians spoke of divine dynasties before the pharaohs, when gods imparted wisdom. The Maya revered feathered serpent gods like Kukulkan, who brought knowledge from afar. Polynesian myths tell of navigators guided by star beings, while Chinese lore describes ancient emperors with celestial connections. These stories, found on every continent, share a common thread: teachers from the sea or sky who shared advanced knowledge before vanishing. Could they reflect a shared memory of a civilization, its emissaries that seeded pyramid building worldwide? The acoustic properties of these structures add another layer of intrigue. Pyramids in Egypt, Mexico, and China produce resonant frequencies and sound amplification, suggesting intentional design for communication or ritual. Some speculate these monuments formed a global network, transmitting information through vibrations or energies we no longer understand. The possibility of a conspiracy to suppress this global legacy emerges when we consider the resistance to alternative chronologies. Mainstream archaeology often dismisses sites like Gunung Padang or the Bosnian pyramids, citing insufficient evidence. Yet proponents argue that academic gatekeeping, driven by a need to preserve established timelines, marginalizes discoveries that challenge human history. The reluctance to fully explore Giza's hidden chambers, like the void detected in 2017, fuels suspicion. Could institutions, from universities to governments, fear that evidence of a prehistoric civilization would upend religious, cultural, or political narratives? The economic stakes are high. Egypt's tourism industry thrives on the pharaoh's legacy, and alternative origins could disrupt this narrative, prompting cautious handling of new discoveries. Modern technology is beginning to unravel these mysteries. Satellite archaeology reveals hidden structures beneath vegetation and sand, from Sudan to South America. Ground-penetrating radar and muon tomography detect chambers and tunnels invisible to the eye, suggesting that many pyramid complexes extend far beyond their visible forms. In Mexico, LiDAR scans have uncovered vast networks of Maya pyramids, while in China, remote sensing has identified previously unknown sites. These tools hint at a global phenomenon far more extensive than previously recognized, with pyramids serving as nodes in a planetary system of sacred architecture. The implications are staggering. If these monuments share a common origin, they suggest a level of ancient coordination, perhaps global communication, or travel that rewrites our understanding of prehistory. As we stand beneath the desert sky, the pyramids of Giza feel less like isolated wonders and more like threads in a vast tapestry, woven across continents by hands unknown. Their global counterparts, from Teotihuacan's sunlit steps to Gunung Padang's ancient terraces, speak of a shared impulse to reach for the stars, to encode cosmic truths in stone. Whether born of independent genius or a unified tradition, these monuments challenge us to rethink humanity's past. Were they built by a single civilization, lost to time, or by cultures connected by forgotten voyages? Or do they hint at guidance from beyond, a legacy of knowledge that spans the earth and sky? The night grows still. The stars are silent witness to our questions. As we prepare to explore the tools of modern science that probe these ancient stones, we carry with us the sense that the pyramids are more than relics. They are messages, etched in stone, waiting for us to decipher their meaning. Tonight, we explore how cutting-edge technology is unlocking the mysteries of Giza, revealing hidden spaces and fueling speculation about what lies with perhaps evidence of ancient knowledge, lost civilizations, or even cosmic origins. For centuries, the pyramids have guarded their secrets behind walls of limestone and granite, their inner chambers accessible only to those brave or reckless enough to venture into their depths. Early explorers, armed with picks and torches, carved their way through stone, often with more zeal than precision. In the 1830s, Colonel Howard Vyse used gunpowder to blast into the Great Pyramid, uncovering chambers but leaving destruction in his wake. Such methods, crude and damaging, could only reveal so much. The true revolution began in the 20th century, as science turned its gaze inward, developing tools that see without breaking, probe without destroying. Ground-penetrating radar, originally designed for military use, became an archaeologist's eye, sending electromagnetic pulses deep into the earth to detect voids and structures hidden beneath sand and stone. Muon tomography, harnessing cosmic rays that rained down from the universe, allowed researchers to map the pyramid's interiors with unprecedented clarity. These technologies, combined with digital modeling and artificial intelligence, are transforming our understanding of Giza, turning stone into a canvas of revelation. The Scan Pyramids project, launched in 2015 by an international team of scientists, marks a turning point in this quest. Using a suite of non-invasive tools, muon detectors, thermal imaging, and 3D reconstruction, the project aims to map the internal architecture of the pyramids without moving a single stone. In 2017, their efforts yielded a stunning discovery: a massive void within the Great Pyramid, hidden above the Grand Gallery. This space, larger than a passenger jet, is a chamber no archaeologist had suspected, its purpose unknown. Muon particles, which pass more easily through empty spaces than solid stone, revealed this anomaly by creating a shadow on detection equipment. The void's size and location high within the pyramid's core suggest it is not a structural feature like a stress-relieving chamber, but something else entirely. Could it hold artifacts, inscriptions, or even technologies left by the builders? The possibility ignites the imagination, hinting at secrets that could rewrite history. This discovery is just the beginning. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed networks of tunnels and chambers beneath the Giza plateau, extending far beyond the visible pyramids. These subterranean spaces, untouched by modern hands, may connect the pyramids to the Sphinx or to hidden complexes lost to time. Some speculate that the legendary Hall of Records, described by mystics like Edgar Cayce, lies within these networks, a repository of ancient wisdom, perhaps containing scrolls or tablets that detail the origins of the pyramids or their builders' knowledge. Satellite imagery, with resolution now capable of detecting structures buried under sand, has uncovered anomalies around Giza, suggesting the plateau is part of a larger sacred landscape. These findings challenge the idea that the pyramids are isolated monuments, proposing instead a vast, interconnected system designed for purposes we can only guess. The promise of future technologies is even more tantalizing. Muon tomography, still in its infancy, is evolving rapidly. Next-generation detectors, with sensitivity far beyond current models, could reveal chambers too small or faint for today's instruments to detect. These cosmic ray archaeologists work tirelessly, their particle beams penetrating stone with a patience that mirrors the pyramid's endurance. Artificial intelligence is transforming how we analyze this data, with machine learning algorithms trained on vast datasets of architectural patterns. These digital sleuths can predict the locations of hidden spaces by detecting subtle variations in stone density or structural anomalies invisible to human eyes. In the coming decades, AI could map the pyramid's interiors, with precision that rivals a surgeon's scalpel, uncovering secrets without ever breaking the surface. Robotics offers another frontier. Tiny, insect-sized robots equipped with high-resolution cameras and sensors could soon navigate the narrow shafts and crevices of the pyramids, exploring spaces too small for humans or larger machines. These mechanical explorers could carry fiber-optic cameras into sealed chambers, capturing images of artifacts or inscriptions untouched since the pyramids were built. Such technology could resolve debates about the void above the Grand Gallery without risking damage to the monument. Advanced drilling techniques, capable of creating microscopic boreholes, could sample air or materials from these spaces, analyzing their chemical composition for clues about their contents. These methods, minimally invasive, balance the thirst for knowledge with the need to preserve Giza's irreplaceable heritage. Materials science is also shedding light on the pyramid's construction. Advanced spectrometry can now analyze the mortar binding the stones, identifying trace elements that reveal the geographic origins of the materials. The Great Pyramid's mortar, stronger than the limestone it holds, contains minerals not found in Egypt, suggesting trade networks or processes unknown to modern chemistry. Microscopic analysis of stone surfaces has detected marks that some argue indicate the use of advanced tools, perhaps even lost technologies like acoustic levitation or chemical softening of stone. These findings challenge the narrative of copper tools and manual labor, hinting at methods that could explain the pyramid's precision. Future quantum sensors, capable of detecting minute variations in gravitational fields or atomic compositions, may pinpoint the exact sources of the granite blocks from Aswan or identify organic traces left by the builders, offering clues to their techniques and timeline. Yet, these technological advances come with whispers of conspiracy. Why have Egyptian authorities been reluctant to explore the void discovered in 2017? Some speculate that the contents, whether artifacts, texts, or technologies, could challenge established narratives about Egypt's history or humanity's past. The pyramids are a cornerstone of Egypt's tourism industry, generating billions in revenue by celebrating the pharaoh's achievements. Evidence of an older civilization or extraterrestrial involvement could disrupt this narrative, prompting caution or outright suppression. Some point to the influence of global institutions, like UNESCO or secret societies, which may prioritize stability over revolutionary discoveries. The Freemasons, with their Egyptian-inspired symbols, are often cited in these theories, accused of guarding ancient knowledge that could upend religious or cultural frameworks if revealed. The idea of a hidden hall of records fuels these speculations. Described in ancient texts and modern visions, this chamber is said to lie beneath the Sphinx or within the pyramids, containing records of a lost civilization or cosmic teachers. Ground-penetrating radar has detected anomalies beneath the Sphinx, but excavations are tightly controlled, with permits rarely granted to independent researchers. Could these spaces hold devices or inscriptions that reveal the pyramid's true purpose, perhaps as energy conduits, consciousness amplifiers, or even time capsules for future generations? The reluctance to investigate, some argue, suggests a deliberate effort to keep such truths buried, whether to protect national pride or to avoid paradigm-shifting revelations. Climate modeling adds another layer to this mystery. By reconstructing ancient weather patterns, scientists can now map the environmental conditions of the African humid period, when the Sahara was green and rivers flowed. These models suggest that pyramid construction would have been more feasible in a wetter climate, with navigable waterways easing the transport of heavy stones. Future climate reconstructions could pinpoint when Giza's builders operated, potentially confirming dates far older than the 4th dynasty. Time-lapse geological analysis, tracking sand accumulation and stone weathering, may soon provide independent dating methods, free from the biases of cultural artifacts. These geological clocks could settle debates about the Sphinx's water erosion, supporting or refuting claims of extreme antiquity. Acoustic analysis is another frontier, probing the pyramid's sound properties. The king's chamber resonates at 432 Hz, a frequency tied to meditative states, but other chambers and passages may hold similar secrets. Advanced sonic mapping could reveal hidden spaces by detecting how sound waves travel through stone, identifying cavities or tunnels missed by other methods. Some researchers speculate that the pyramids were designed as acoustic instruments, amplifying vibrations for ritual or communication purposes. Could they have been part of a global network, as some propose, using sound or energy to transmit information across continents? Such ideas, while speculative, gain traction as we uncover the pyramid's sophisticated engineering. Crowdsourced research platforms are democratizing this quest, allowing global enthusiasts to analyze high-resolution images of pyramid stones for inscriptions or anomalies. These citizen scientists, unburdened by institutional constraints, could spot patterns missed by algorithms or academics. Blockchain technology offers another possibility, creating decentralized databases to preserve findings against suppression or manipulation. Such tools could ensure that discovery, especially those challenging official narratives, reach the public without interference. Virtual collaboration platforms are also emerging, enabling researchers worldwide to share data in real time, creating global teams that transcend borders and rivalries. The ethical challenges of this research loom large. As technology enables deeper exploration, we must balance discovery with preservation. The pyramids, as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, are irreplaceable, and invasive methods risk damage. Non-invasive techniques, like muon tomography and microdrilling, offer solutions, but political and economic pressures complicate access. Egypt's government, wary of findings that could shift historical narratives, tightly controls excavations. International cooperation could ease these barriers, uniting scientists in a shared quest to unlock Giza's secrets. But national interests often take precedence. The global significance of the pyramids, as part of a worldwide phenomenon, may eventually demand a collective approach, transcending politics for the sake of truth. The tantalizing prospect of discovering intact chambers keeps the mystery alive. The void above the Grand Gallery could hold artifacts, texts, or even technologies, perhaps evidence of a lost civilization or cosmic contact. Such a find would transform archaeology, forcing us to rethink human history or our place in the cosmos. Yet, each discovery seems to raise new questions. If we find a hall of records, what will it reveal? Instructions for ancient technologies, star maps, or warnings from builders who knew their world would vanish. The pyramids, with their enduring presence, remind us that the greatest mysteries are not solved, but deepened. Each answer a doorway to new wonders. If this exploration of ancient secrets has captivated you, join our community at Mystery History for Sleep by subscribing to dive deeper into history's enigmas. Share this journey on social media to spark conversations about what lies hidden in Giza's stones, and leave a comment with your location and the time you're listening. Whether it's under a desert moon or in the quiet of your home, your voice keeps these mysteries alive, connecting us to the timeless quest for truth. The desert night wraps us in its quiet embrace. The pyramids stand as silent sentinels, their secrets slowly yielding to the tools of our age. The technologies we wield radar, muons, AI, and Moriere bridges to a past that grows more complex with each revelation. But as we probe deeper, we must confront the forces that shape what we're allowed to know, from institutional caution to whispers of hidden agendas. Now, as the night holds Giza in its quiet embrace, we ground ourselves in the story that has anchored our understanding for centuries, the tale of the ancient Egyptians, a civilization of unparalleled skill and vision who built the pyramids with nothing but human hands, copper tools, and an unyielding drive to touch eternity. Tonight, we explore the Orthodox narrative, a testament to the Fourth Dynasty's triumphs, while lingering on whispers of mysteries that even this story cannot fully explain, setting the stage for the challenges that lie beyond. The pyramids of Giza rise from the sands like monuments to human potential, their limestone faces catching the faint glow of stars. According to the established narrative, these wonders were born during Egypt's Old Kingdom, a golden age between 2600 and 2500 BCE, when the 4th dynasty pharaohs ruled as living gods. At the heart of this story is Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops, who ascended the throne around 2589 BCE. Driven by the Egyptian belief that death was a doorway to eternal life among the stars, Khufu commissioned the Great Pyramid, a tomb to ensure his soul's journey to the afterlife. This colossal structure, covering 13 acres and rising 481 feet, contains over 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing between 2 and 15 tons, with some granite slabs reaching 80 tons. Its successors, the pyramids of Khafre and Menkaure, joined it on the Giza plateau, each a testament to royal ambition and divine destiny. The Great Sphinx, carved from living rock, stands as their eternal guardian, its gaze fixed on the rising sun. This narrative paints a picture of organized brilliance that would awe modern project managers. Teams of architects, their names largely lost to time, designed the pyramids with mathematical precision. The Great Pyramid's base is leveled to within 2.1 centimeters, a feat that ensures its stability through millennia of earthquakes and erosion. Its 4 sides align with the cardinal directions to within a fraction of a degree, pointing to true north with an accuracy that suggests advanced astronomical knowledge. The builders used tools that seem rudimentary by today's standards: copper chisels, hardened through hammering, to cut limestone, wooden levers and sledges to move blocks, and hemp ropes, woven from Nile Delta fibers, to haul massive stones. Yet, in skilled hands, these tools achieved miracles. Limestone blocks were quarried on the Giza plateau itself, while granite was transported 500 miles from Aswan, likely on barges during the Nile's flood season. The logistics of such a project, coordinating materials, labor, and timing, reflect a society operating at the peak of its capabilities. The workforce behind this endeavor was not the enslaved masses of Hollywood myth, but a community of skilled craftsmen and seasonal laborers. In the 1990s, archaeologist Mark Lehner uncovered a workers' village near Giza, revealing bakeries, breweries, and sleeping quarters that tell a different story. These were not the cramped barracks of the oppressed, but organized settlements where workers enjoyed a diet rich in beef and fish luxuries for the time. Bread ovens large enough to feed thousands and animal bones from high-quality meat suggest a workforce well-fed and valued. Graffiti left by these laborers, with names like Friends of Khufu or Drunkards of Menkaure, speaks of pride and camaraderie, not coercion. Estimates suggest a permanent core of 2,000 skilled craftsmen, swelling to 20,000 during the flood season when farmers, freed from their fields, joined the effort. This seasonal influx required sophisticated supply chains, delivering food, tools, and materials across hundreds of miles with precision that left no room for error. The construction techniques, though simple in concept, were executed with extraordinary finesse. The builders likely used internal ramps, spiraling upward within the pyramid's core, to transport stones to higher levels without external scaffolding. As each layer was completed, the ramp extended, a stone staircase growing with the monument. Wooden sledges, their runners polished by countless journeys, carried blocks across the sand, lubricated by water to reduce friction. Copper chisels, though soft compared to modern steel, were sharpened repeatedly to split limestone with surgical accuracy. For the granite blocks, harder than copper, the builders may have used fire and water to crack the stone, heating it with flames before dousing it to create fractures. These methods, tested in modern experiments, prove viable, though they demand immense skill and coordination. The Great Pyramid's construction, if completed in Khufu's 23-year reign, required placing over 300 stones daily, a relentless pace that speaks to the Egyptians' organizational genius. The astronomical and mathematical sophistication embedded in the pyramids elevates this narrative further. The Great Pyramid's orientation to true north, accurate to within 1/20th of a degree, suggests the builders tracked stars like Thuban, the pole star of their era, over years of observation. The pyramid's dimensions encode relationships that hint at advanced knowledge. Its base perimeter divided by its height approximates pi, while its proportions reflect the golden ratio, a constant found in nature and art. The internal chambers, like the king's chamber, are positioned with ratios that mirror natural patterns, from seashell spirals to human anatomy. These features suggest the Egyptians saw their monuments as more than tombs, but as reflections of cosmic order, harmonizing Earth with the heavens. Archaeological evidence supports this story of human achievement. Excavations near the pyramids have uncovered tools, quarry marks, and workers' cemeteries, where skeletons show signs of heavy labor, but also medical care, including surgeries for fractures. These findings paint a picture of a society that valued its workforce, providing healthcare advanced for its time. Papyrus records, like the Diary of Mira, discovered in 2013, detail the transport of limestone blocks to Giza, offering a glimpse into the logistics of pyramid construction. The discovery of boat pits beside the pyramids, containing disassembled vessels for the pharaoh's afterlife journey, further ties the monuments to Egyptian beliefs about eternity. These artifacts ground the narrative in tangible evidence, showcasing a civilization that blended practical engineering with spiritual purpose. Yet, even this compelling story leaves shadows of doubt. The sheer scale of the project, 2.3 million blocks, some moved hundreds of miles, pushes the boundaries of what copper tools and human labor could achieve. The granite blocks in the king's chamber, weighing up to 80 tons, were lifted nearly 200 feet and fitted with joints so tight a knife blade cannot pass between them. Modern attempts to replicate these feats, like a 1978 Japanese experiment, struggled with copper tools dulling rapidly and ramps collapsing under weight. The mortar's composition, containing minerals not native to Egypt, remains a chemical enigma, its strength unmatched by modern equivalents. These anomalies spark speculation. Did the Egyptians possess techniques we've yet to rediscover, perhaps lost in the destruction of ancient records? Some whisper of a library of wisdom, a repository of technical knowledge hidden in sealed chambers, its existence guarded by time or by those who fear its revelations. Another mystery lingers in the narrative's attribution of the pyramids to specific pharaohs. The inventory stele, a granite slab, claiming Khufu restored rather than built the Great Pyramid, raises questions about ownership. Mainstream scholars dismiss it as a later fabrication, but its detailed account of repairs hints at an older origin. Similarly, the cartouche of Khufu, found by Howard Vyse in a sealed chamber, is a cornerstone of the Orthodox timeline, yet some question its authenticity, noting the red ochre paint's unusual freshness. Could the pharaohs have claimed credit for monuments inherited from an earlier age, embellishing their legacy to cement divine authority? Such doubts fuel theories of a conspiracy, whether true builders, human or otherwise, were erased from history, their story replaced by one that glorifies the Fourth Dynasty. The Orthodox narrative, for all its rigor, cannot fully silence these questions. The Egyptians' achievements are undeniable. Villages, tools, and records paint a vivid picture of their skill, but the precision and scale of the pyramids suggest knowledge that stretches the limits of their era. Were they aided by lost techniques, perhaps involving acoustic or chemical methods to ease stonework? Or did they inherit wisdom from a forgotten source, its traces buried beneath the sands? The narrative of human triumph is compelling, yet it leaves room for mysteries that beckon us to look deeper. As the desert night holds us in its quiet grip, the pyramids stand as testaments to the Egyptians' genius, but also as challenges to our understanding. Their stones, aligned with stars and etched with mathematical truths, invite us to question how such feats were possible. The Orthodox story, rooted in archaeology and evidence, is a foundation, but it is not the whole truth. We turn to the heart of the pyramid mystery, the sheer technical audacity of their construction. The Great Pyramid, with its 2.3 million stone blocks and celestial precision, is a marvel that defies the tools and techniques we attribute to its builders. How did a civilization, armed with copper chisels and ropes, achieve feats that challenge modern engineering? The Great Pyramid of Khufu, rising 481 feet above the Giza plateau, is a testament to ambition on a scale that staggers the imagination. Its base spans 13 acres, leveled to within 2.1 centimeters, a foundation so precise it has withstood millennia of earthquakes and erosion. Over 3 million limestone and granite blocks, averaging 2 to 15 tons each, were quarried, transported, and placed with a precision that aligns the structure to true north within a fraction of a degree. Some granite blocks in the King's Chamber weigh up to 80 tons, fitted together with joints so tight a knife blade cannot slip between them. If built during Khufu's 23-year reign, as the Orthodox narrative claims, this required placing over 300 blocks daily, a relentless pace that demands not just labor, but extraordinary coordination. The challenges of quarrying, moving, and setting these stones, using only the tools of the Fourth Dynasty, push the boundaries of what we believe possible, inviting questions that linger like shadows in the desert night. Quarrying the stones was the first hurdle. The majority of the Great Pyramid's blocks came from local limestone quarries on the Giza plateau, where workers used copper chisels, hardened through hammering, to cut stone. Copper, though softer than modern steel, could be effective when maintained, splitting limestone with careful precision. Modern experiments have shown this is possible, but the scale is daunting. Millions of blocks required a near-industrial operation of tool production and sharpening. The granite blocks, sourced from Aswan 500 miles away, present an even greater challenge. Granite is far harder than limestone, resisting copper tools. Archaeologists suggest workers heated the stone with fires, then poured cold water to create cracks, using wooden wedges soaked in water to split blocks. This method, while ingenious, demands immense time and precision to produce the massive slabs found in the pyramid's core, raising questions about how such efficiency was sustained. Transporting these stones was a logistical feat that rivals the construction itself. Limestone blocks were likely dragged across the Giza plateau on wooden sledges, lubricated with water to reduce friction. Excavations have uncovered sledges and quarry ramps, supporting this theory, but moving 80-ton granite blocks from Aswan required a different approach. During the Nile's flood season, barges could carry these slabs, but the boats needed would have been massive, larger than any archaeological remains from the period. Navigating 500 miles of river with shifting currents and sandbars while balancing multi-ton loads would have demanded engineering and seamanship beyond what we typically attribute to the time. Once at Giza, the blocks faced another challenge, moving across sand, which provides an unstable surface. Wooden rollers, often proposed as a solution, would have crushed under the heaviest loads, and hemp ropes, even when thick, had breaking points that limited their capacity. These constraints suggest a level of ingenuity or unknown techniques that strains conventional explanations. Lifting and placing the stones posed perhaps the greatest challenge. The Orthodox narrative proposes internal ramps, spiraling upward within the pyramid's core, to transport blocks to higher levels. These ramps, partially visible in scans, allowed workers to haul stones without external scaffolding, which would have required millions of additional tons of material. As each layer was completed, the ramp extended, a stone staircase growing with the monument. This method explains the construction's progression, but coordinating thousands of workers in tight, dark spaces with no ground-level oversight demands a level of planning that rivals modern project management. The King's Chamber, nearly 200 feet above ground, contains granite beams so heavy that lifting them would have tested the limits of ropes and levers. The sarcophagus, carved from a single granite block, was cut with tolerances that modern machine shops struggle to match, and its placement within the chamber required building the room around it, a feat of sequencing that implies meticulous design. The precision of the pyramid's construction is equally baffling. The base's near-perfect flatness, achieved across 13 acres, suggests tools or methods we cannot fully reconstruct. Aligning the structure to true north, accurate to within 1/20th of a degree, required tracking stellar movements over years, likely using stars like Thuban as reference points. The joints between blocks, especially in the King's Chamber, are so precise that they suggest almost mechanical accuracy, yet no bronze or iron tool sharder than copper have been found from the period. The mortar, stronger than the limestone it binds, contains minerals not native to Egypt, its recipe still eluding modern chemists. These anomalies raise questions. Did the Egyptians master techniques we've lost, perhaps using chemical agents to soften stone or acoustic methods to ease lifting? Some speculate about a library of wisdom, a hidden archive of technical knowledge, perhaps sealed in chambers like the void detected above the Grand Gallery in 2017. Such a repository could explain the pyramid's feats, but its absence from the archaeological record fuels mystery. Modern attempts to replicate pyramid construction highlight these challenges. In 1978, a Japanese team tried to build a small pyramid using 4th Dynasty methods. Copper tools dulled within hours, wooden ramps collapsed under modest weights, and ropes snapped under loads far smaller than Giza's granite blocks. The experiment, despite modern knowledge and resources, failed to match the ancients' efficiency, underscoring the gap between our assumptions and their achievements. Computer modeling has revealed further complexities, showing that coordinating thousands of workers in three-dimensional space, while maintaining structural integrity, required skills akin to those of modern construction firms. The timing of material deliveries, avoiding bottlenecks while ensuring steady progress, suggests an organizational prowess that feels almost anachronistic. These technical hurdles spark speculation about lost technologies. Some propose the Egyptians used acoustic levitation, harnessing sound waves to reduce the weight of stones, a technique hinted at in ancient texts describing stones singing as they moved. Others suggest chemical processes, like acids or softening agents, to ease stone cutting, though no evidence confirms this. The mortar's unique composition fuels theories of alchemical knowledge, perhaps inherited from an earlier civilization or guarded in secret archives. The absence of advanced tools, like steel, in the archaeological record is puzzling, as such materials would have simplified construction. Some speculate that steel tools corroded away, but no traces remain, leaving room for ideas of unconventional methods, perhaps even guidance from non-human sources, though this ventures into the realm of earlier theories. The challenges also invite whispers of a conspiracy. Why do we find no detailed records of the pyramid's construction methods? Ancient Egypt produced voluminous texts, yet the specifics of pyramid building are scarce, with only fragments like the Diary of Mira describing stone transport. Could technical knowledge have been deliberately obscured, perhaps by priests or later rulers, to preserve the pharaoh's divine mystique? The inventory stele, suggesting Khufu restored rather than built the Great Pyramid, raises the possibility that the 4th dynasty claimed credit for older monuments, erasing their true origins. Some theorists point to the cartouche of Khufu, found by Howard Vyse in a sealed chamber, as suspiciously pristine, hinting at possible fabrication to cement the Orthodox timeline. Such doubts suggest a narrative shaped not just by evidence but by the agendas of those who wrote history. The pyramid's technical feats are undeniable, yet they leave gaps that the Orthodox narrative struggles to fill. The precision of stone placement, the logistics of transport, and the mortar's mysterious composition suggest a civilization operating at the edge of possibility or beyond. Were the Egyptians aided by techniques lost to time, perhaps encoded in a hidden archive, or did they inherit knowledge from an earlier age, its traces buried beneath the sands? The answers may lie in chambers yet to be explored, like the void above the Grand Gallery, which could hold clues to the builders' methods or to secrets they chose to conceal. As the desert night grows still, the pyramids stand as monuments to human ingenuity, but also as riddles that challenge our understanding. Their construction, a triumph of skill and will, hints at knowledge we cannot fully grasp. Our journey now turns to the forces that shape this story, the gatekeepers of history, who decide which truths are told and which remain hidden. The pyramids of Giza, standing for over 4,500 years, are more than monuments, they are symbols of human achievement. Their story, a battleground where evidence and interpretation collide. The Orthodox narrative, rooted in Egypt's 4th dynasty, credits pharaohs like Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure with their creation, built by skilled workers using copper tools and ramps. This story, taught in textbooks and celebrated in museums, emerged not solely from archaeological discovery, but from a complex interplay of science, cultural assumptions, and institutional power. The gatekeepers of historioarchaeologists, academics, governments, and cultural authorities wield immense influence over what we accept as fact, determining which evidence is highlighted and which theories are dismissed. Their decisions, often shaped by more than the pursuit of truth, cast long shadows over the pyramid's legacy, raising questions about what we're allowed to know and what remains hidden. The roots of this narrative trace back to the 19th century, when European explorers like Colonel Howard Vyse ventured into Egypt during the height of colonial ambition. In 1837, Vyse blasted his way into the Great Pyramid's relieving chambers, discovering a cartouche bearing Khufu's name, painted in red ochre. This find became a cornerstone of the Orthodox timeline, tying the pyramid to the Fourth Dynasty. Yet, whispers of doubt surround this discovery. Some scholars note the paint's unusual freshness, suggesting it could have been added by Vyse or his team to secure fame or align with colonial interests in portraying Egypt as a cradle of civilization under pharaonic rule. While no definitive proof of forgery exists, the controversy highlights how early archaeology was shaped by the biases of its time, including Victorian assumptions about the superiority of modern civilization and the limited capabilities of ancient peoples. These biases colored the interpretation of the pyramid's builders. Early Egyptologists, steeped in Eurocentric views, often underestimated the ingenuity of non-Western cultures, assuming the pyramids required advanced tools or external influence to explain their sophistication. The image of enslaved workers, driven by whip-wielding overseers, dominated popular imagination, fueled by biblical narratives and Hollywood depictions. It wasn't until the 1990s, with discoveries like Mark Lehner's Workers' Village, that this myth was dispelled, revealing a skilled, well-fed workforce proud of their craft. Yet, even as evidence corrected old assumptions, the gatekeepers of academia maintained a rigid framework, favoring interpretations that fit established chronologies over those that challenged them. The inventory stele, suggesting Khufu restored rather than built the Great Pyramid, was dismissed as a later creation, its implications of an older origin too disruptive to entertain seriously. Institutional structures play a powerful role in this gatekeeping. Academic careers depend on peer review, a process that rewards incremental advances within accepted paradigms while marginalizing radical ideas. Funding agencies, whether governmental or private, prioritize projects that build on established foundations, leaving little room for theories like those of Robert Schoch, who argued the Sphinx's water erosion points to a 7,900-year-old origin. Schoch's geological evidence, grounded in weathering principles, was met with skepticism not for its scientific merit, but because it clashed with archaeological timelines. This resistance illustrates a broader pattern. Evidence that doesn't fit the Fourth Dynasty narrative is often labeled speculative, regardless of its rigor, while conventional theories are upheld, even when anomalies like the pyramid's mathematical precision or non-native mortar minerals remain unexplained. Political and economic interests further shape the story. Egypt's tourism industry, a vital economic pillar, relies on the allure of pharaonic achievements. The pyramids, as symbols of ancient Egypt's glory, draw millions of visitors, generating billions in revenue. Alternative theories, like those suggesting an older civilization or extraterrestrial involvement, could undermine this narrative, threatening national pride and economic stability. Egyptian authorities tightly control access to Giza, granting excavation permits sparingly and often favoring research that reinforces the Orthodox view. The 2017 discovery of a massive void above the Grand Gallery, detected by the Scan Pyramids project, sparked global excitement. Yet further exploration has been delayed, with officials citing concerns about structural damage. Critics argue this hesitation reflects a deeper fear, that the void's contents, whether artifacts, texts, or technologies, could challenge Egypt's claim to the pyramid's legacy or reveal truths too disruptive to embrace. Global institutions, like UNESCO, add another layer of influence. As stewards of world heritage, they advocate for preservation, often prioritizing the pyramid's physical integrity over invasive exploration. While this protects the monuments, it can stifle discoveries that require deeper investigation, like drilling into sealed chambers. Some speculate that international powers, aware of the pyramid's potential to upend historical or religious narratives, exert subtle pressure to limit research. The Freemasons, with their Egyptian-inspired symbols, are often cited in conspiracy theories as guardians of ancient secrets, possibly influencing which findings reach the public. While such claims lack hard evidence, they reflect a broader unease that the truth about the pyramids is filtered through layers of institutional control, shaped by agendas that extend beyond science. This gatekeeping extends to the media, which often amplifies the orthodox narrative while relegating alternative theories to the fringes. Documentaries and exhibitions present the Fourth Dynasty story as settled fact, rarely exploring anomalies like the Sphinx's erosion or the void's implications. This creates a feedback loop, where public understanding is shaped by curated information, influencing funding and research priorities. Independent researchers, denied access to mainstream journals or conferences, turn to platforms like social media or self-published books, where their work is often dismissed as pseudoscience, regardless of its merit. The rise of digital tools, like satellite imagery and crowdsourced analysis, is challenging this dynamic, allowing amateurs to uncover anomalies such as hidden structures beneath Giza's sands that official surveys might overlook. Yet, these platforms also risk spreading misinformation, complicating the quest for truth. The case of the Sphinx's water erosion, proposed by Robert Schoch, exemplifies this tension. Schoch's geological analysis, suggesting a wetter climate 7,000–9,000 years ago, was dismissed by Egyptologists who prioritized archaeological timelines over scientific evidence. This standoff between disciplines highlights how gatekeepers, bound by their training, resist ideas that cross academic boundaries. Similarly, claims about Gunung Padang in Indonesia, potentially 20,000 years old, face skepticism not because of flawed data, but because they challenge the timeline of human development. These examples suggest a systemic bias, where revolutionary discoveries are sidelined to protect established paradigms, as philosopher Thomas Kuhn described in his analysis of scientific revolutions. Conspiracy theories thrive in this environment, fueled by the perception that gatekeepers suppress uncomfortable truths. Some claim the pyramid's secrets, perhaps a hall of records beneath the Sphinx, hold knowledge that could disrupt religious beliefs, like biblical chronologies, or political structures that rely on linear narratives of human progress. The reluctance to explore the 2017 void, for instance, is seen by some as evidence of a cover-up, with authorities fearing artifacts that might point to an older civilization or non-human builders. The cartouche of Khufu, found by Unveils, remains a flashpoint, with critics arguing its pristine condition suggests tampering to reinforce the Fourth Dynasty narrative. While these theories often lack concrete proof, they reflect a broader truth. History is not a neutral recounting of facts, but a constructed story, shaped by those with the power to publish, fund, or permit research. The democratization of archaeology offers hope for breaking these barriers. Satellite imagery, freely accessible online, has revealed hidden structures worldwide, from Maya pyramids to Sudanese tombs. Crowdsourced platforms allow enthusiasts to analyze data, spotting inscriptions or anomalies that professionals might miss. Blockchain technology could create transparent databases, preserving findings against suppression. Virtual collaboration tools enable global teams to share real-time data, bypassing institutional gatekeepers. These advances are leveling the field, giving independent researchers a voice, but they also introduce challenges. Without rigorous peer review, speculative claims can gain traction, blurring the line between insight and fantasy. The public, inundated with information, must learn to discern credible research from sensationalism, a skill as vital as the technologies themselves. The influence of history's gatekeepers extends beyond archaeology to questions about how knowledge is created and shared. If evidence of the pyramid's origins is suppressed, whether by academic caution, national pride, or global agendas, what else might we be missing? The pyramids, as mirrors of human potential, challenge us to question not just their builders, but the systems that interpret their legacy. Their story is inseparable from the power dynamics that decide which truths are celebrated and which are buried. Welcome back to Mystery History for Sleep, where the ancient stones of Giza stand as eternal beacons, their shadows stretching across the sands of time to touch the edges of our imagination. I'm Mr. H, your guide through the twilight of history, where we've journeyed from the cosmic enigmas of the pyramids to whispers of forgotten civilizations, from global echoes of their design to the technical triumphs and institutional forces that shape their story. Now, as the desert night softens into the hush before dawn, we pause to reflect on the deeper significance of these monuments. The pyramids are more than stone and mortar. They are mirrors of human potential, bridges between Earth and the cosmos, and timeless teachers of lessons that resonate across millennia. Tonight, we explore the meaning and lessons of the pyramids, asking not just who built them, but why they endure as symbols of our eternal quest to transcend the limits of mortality and touch the infinite. As we stand beneath the starlit sky, the pyramids of Giza rise like silent philosophers, their weathered surfaces glowing faintly in the pre-dawn light. For over 4,500 years, they have stood as testaments to a civilization that dared to dream beyond the fleeting span of human life. The Orthodox narrative ties them to the Fourth Dynasty, built as tombs to secure the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Yet, their precision, scale, and cosmic alignments suggest purposes far grander: observatories of the stars, instruments of the spirit, or perhaps messages encoded in stone for future generations. Their meaning lies not in a single explanation, but in their ability to speak to every age, every seeker, every soul that gazes upon them and wonders. They are not just relics of the past, but active participants in an ongoing dialogue between humanity and the mysteries of existence. At their core, the pyramids embody humanity's longing to connect with the eternal. The ancient Egyptians saw death as a transformation, a passage to join the imperishable stars. The pyramid texts, among the oldest sacred writings, describe the pharaoh's ascent through celestial realms, merging with Orion or Sirius to achieve immortality. The Great Pyramid's shafts, aligned with stars like Thuban and Osiris's belt, were not mere architectural quirks but pathways for the soul, linking Earth to the heavens. This spiritual purpose transcends the idea of a tomb, suggesting the pyramids were designed to harmonize human existence with cosmic order. Their alignment to true north, accurate to a fraction of a degree, and their incorporation of mathematical constants like pi and the golden ratio reflect a worldview that saw the universe as a unified whole, where geometry and astronomy were sacred languages of creation. This cosmic connection extends to the pyramid's design as a reflection of universal truths. The golden ratio, found in the proportions of the Great Pyramid's height and base, mirrors patterns in nature from the spirals of galaxies to the growth of nautilus shells. This divine proportion, revered by mystics as the fingerprint of the divine, suggests the builders understood principles that govern both matter and spirit. The internal passages, from the descending corridor to the soaring grand gallery, trace a symbolic journey, a descent into material existence, followed by an ascent toward enlightenment. The king's chamber, resonating at 432 Hz of frequency tied to meditative states, becomes a sanctuary for transformation. Its empty sarcophagus, perhaps not a grave but a symbol of the ego's death and the spirit's rebirth. These elements position the pyramids as more than monuments. They are architectural meditations on the human condition, designed to elevate consciousness toward the divine. The pyramid's spiritual significance is amplified by their role in ancient initiatory traditions. Mystery schools, claiming descent from Egyptian wisdom, describe rituals conducted within the pyramid's chambers, guiding participants through symbolic death and rebirth. The descending passage represented the shedding of worldly attachments, the grand gallery the stages of spiritual refinement, and the king's chamber the culmination of enlightenment. Such practices, preserved in fragments by Hermetic and Masonic traditions, suggest the pyramids were universities of the soul, where students studied astronomy, mathematics, and consciousness under priest astronomers. The chamber's acoustic properties, amplifying frequencies that align with human brainwaves, may have enhanced these experiences, creating environments where the boundaries of self dissolved into cosmic unity. Stories of historical figures, like Napoleon emerging shaken from a night in the king's chamber, hint at the transformative power of these spaces, whether through design or lingering energy. Yet, the pyramids' meaning extends beyond spirituality to their role as repositories of knowledge. Their mathematical precision encoding pi, phi, and Earth's dimensions suggests they were built to preserve universal truths for future generations. The base perimeter of the Great Pyramid, 3,023 feet, equals half a minute of latitude at the equator in ancient Egyptian cubits, while its height, scaled by 1 billion, approximates the distance to the Sun. These relationships, too precise for coincidence, imply the builders possessed knowledge of global geography and astronomy far beyond their era. Some speculate the pyramids were time capsules, designed to outlast their creators and speak to a distant future. The legendary Hall of Records, said to lie beneath the Sphinx, may hold scrolls or artifacts detailing this wisdom, perhaps a blueprint for civilization itself. The 2017 discovery of a void above the Grand Gallery fuels this idea, suggesting chambers that could contain such treasures, guarded by stone or secrecy. This notion of the pyramids as messages raises provocative questions. Were they built to warn of cataclysms, like the floods that ended the African humid period, or to preserve knowledge of a lost civilization, perhaps Atlantis, whose survivors seeded Egypt's culture? Some theorists propose a grander purpose: the pyramids as a consciousness machine, designed to awaken humanity's potential at a critical moment. Their geometry and acoustics, resonating with natural frequencies, could be tools to trigger a collective shift in awareness, a legacy left by builders who foresaw a future where humanity would need their guidance. This idea, though speculative, aligns with the pyramids' enduring ability to inspire wonder, challenging us to see ourselves as part of a larger cosmic story. The global distribution of pyramids from Mesoamerica's stepped temples to China's eroded mounds suggests this purpose was universal. These structures, sharing mathematical and astronomical traits, imply a shared impulse to encode knowledge in stone, whether through independent genius or a common source. The Maya's El Castillo, with its 365 steps and equinox serpent, mirrors Giza's precision, while Gunung Padang's ancient terraces hint at a prehistoric tradition. This global phenomenon positions the pyramids as humanity's collective attempt to bridge the temporal and eternal, to leave a legacy that defies oblivion. Their survival through millennia, while empires crumbled, proves their success, their stones still speaking to those who listen. The lessons of the pyramids are as profound as their meaning. They teach us the power of human ambition, showing what can be achieved when vision and effort align. The Orthodox narrative, with its evidence of workers' villages and tools, celebrates the Egyptians' ingenuity, a reminder that our ancestors were capable of greatness without modern machines. Yet, the anomaly's unexplained mortar, impossible precision urge humility, acknowledging that our understanding of the past is incomplete. The pyramids challenge us to question established truths, to seek answers beyond the boundaries of accepted history. They remind us that knowledge is not static but a journey, each discovery a step toward deeper mysteries. This quest for truth also reveals the fragility of knowledge in the face of power. The gatekeepers of history, academics, governments, institutions shape what we know, often prioritizing stability over disruption. The reluctance to explore Giza's hidden chambers, like the 2017 void, suggests a fear of revelations that could upend religious or cultural narratives. Conspiracy theories, from suppressed halls of records to fabricated cartouches, reflect a broader truth. History is a story told by those in control. The pyramids, by enduring, defy this control, their presence a constant invitation to question and explore. They teach us to value curiosity over certainty, to embrace the unknown as a catalyst for growth. The pyramid's ultimate lesson is one of connection. They link humanity to the cosmos, their alignments mapping the stars onto Earth. They connect us to our ancestors, whose dreams of eternity echo in our own aspirations, and they unite us across cultures, from Egypt to Mesoamerica, showing that the impulse to build, to create, to reach beyond mortality is universal. Whether built by pharaohs, a lost civilization, or cosmic guides, the pyramids are gifts from the past, wrapped in stone and mystery, waiting for us to unwrap their truths. They ask us to keep searching, to keep wondering, to keep reaching for a future where the impossible becomes possible. As the first light of dawn creeps across the Giza plateau, painting the pyramids in hues of rose and gold, we stand at the end of one journey and the beginning of another. The pyramids, with their silent wisdom, remind us that the greatest questions are not those we answer, but those that inspire us to keep asking. Their meaning lies in their ability to challenge, to uplift, to connect us to a universe vast and wondrous. If you've been captivated by this journey through the pyramids' mysteries, I invite you to join our community at Mystery History for Sleep. Subscribe to the channel to explore more tales that blend history with wonder, perfect for drifting into dreams. Share this story with friends on social media. Let's spark conversations about the secrets these stones hold. And in the comments, tell us where you're listening from and what time it is there, whether you're under the stars like Giza's builders or tucked in halfway across the globe. Your thoughts keep this journey alive, connecting us all to the eternal enigma of the pyramids. Until our next adventure, let their lessons guide your dreams, and may you find peace in the mysteries that await.